And the Atlanta Hawks, a shot from earlier on, arriving for a battle on the road. And looking confident all the way in. And the game arrival, sponsored by Express. Dress like a pro. The New Orleans riverfront gleaming brightly along the Mississippi here tonight. Thanks for joining us here on 2K Sports for NBA basketball. I'm Kevin Harlan along with Greg Anthony and Brett Berry, our terrific analysts, and David Aldridge is our sideline reporter. Here we are in November. Let's see how things are shaking out in the West early in the season. You look at the Pelicans. Right now they're in 7th in the conference, looking to build on their record.
And I think for New Orleans, there's been such a different feel to them this season. The confidence that was completely...
We are nearly ready for the tip-off, but first, let's hear from our... I sure can. All right, D.A., thanks. Looking at the long season ahead, Brent, as a veteran player, what are some of the habits that keep your body going strong, staying healthy?
Teams have really gotten hip to the idea that we need to rest our star players as much as possible. So efficiency with the work that they do, I think, is the most important thing. Star guys who get into practice and are on the court for 50 minutes to an hour every day so that there's a rhythm that they can keep and the teammates can keep up along with them on the floor. That's what it's about for those guys. Maintenance, maintenance, maintenance.
A look at Atlanta's opening lineup. Herter the 2 with Hunter at the 3. Collins is out there with Clint Capella, and it's Young in at the point guard position. And for the Pelicans, Holiday and Ingram out on the perimeter. Zion is the 4 with Favors at the 5. And it's Ball in at the 1. Collins and... Finished off by Collins.
Shooters tend to be hungry, but this time Herter finds an open teammate.
Holiday with it. And here's Ingram from the arc. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
Really good job of creating just enough space to let that one fly.
Young pass to Herter. Now here's Hunter. The feed to Collins. In the corner. Herter with it. 4 on the clock. Launches it. Can't hit that one. Now New Orleans will take it the other way. And this game, the first chance they've had to see Atlanta.
And in their 2 matchups last season, they came up empty both times. Not really too shocking when you see how they fared overall.
And one of the major pieces of the Anthony Davis trade, Brandon Ingram. Brent figures to be a big piece for this Pelicans team.
So much talk about Brandon Ingram and potential unrealized and maybe some stability around this new organization with head coach Alvin Gentry is going to bring out the best in Brandon Ingram.
There's the pass to Capella. Collins with it. They need this. Favors with the rebound.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
J.J. Redick's checked in for Ball. And a change for the Hawks. Bembry's checked in. Hawks have gone just 1 of 4 to get this game started. And in front of you now is a list of the players with the highest shooting percentage last season. Second is Clint Capella.
Put the ball in the bucket. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? I mean, just ask him. He'll have the answer for you.
And the dunk by Williamson.
And right now, they're just focused on putting together good possessions.
That's exactly how they got the lead. They ended up having multiple possessions in a row with good quality shots, knocked them down, and the game is fully in their control.
And J.J. Redick picks up the foul. That's his first foul. So for the Hawks, Jones checked in for Capella. Labissiere comes in for Collins. And it's Teagan for Trae Young. If you're just tuning in, we played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. And here is Hunter. To the left wing. Pass to Jones. Just 5 to shoot. There's the triple. Pelicans pull it in. And the last two drafts, the Atlanta Hawks aggressively making trades to assemble this roster.
And drafting DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, great length and versatility on the wings. You pair that with Trae Young and John Collins, and that's an exciting young core for the Hawks.
And that one's good. Hunter.
A solid mid-range shooter. Hunter knows where his strengths are.
Here's Jackson. Basket is good. He'll get a chance for one more at the line.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Pelicans shooting their first free throw tonight.
In New Orleans, not the largest market, but a lot to like about living in the Big Easy.
Well, you just said Big Easy in New Orleans, and I saw Kevin Harlan's head whip over here because I know what he's thinking about. Food, baby.
That's right.
Food. But whether it's music, art, architecture, New Orleans has a tremendous culture.
Pass to Hart. It's Redick on the wing from the arc. And Jones pulls it down. The Hawks trail by 8. Shot and game clock separated by 5. Hunter, no one around him, buries it from three-point range. Hunter's got 5 points so far.
That was like a morning paper for Jeff Teague. Makes a great read and swings the ball around for a clean look at the bucket.
Here's Jackson, ejected by Teague. And he gets it back. Tries again, and he comes up with the deuce. Jackson's got his second bucket.
And getting after it on the offensive glass and adding to that early total with the putback.
Sometimes guys come in with a great mindset, trying to push the action until somebody stops him. Nobody there to do it that time.
And so it's the New Orleans Pelicans bringing the quarter to a close with a 7-point lead. And they've done a phenomenal job down low, so many of their points coming right at the rim. We'll return shortly. A unique upbringing for Clint Capella. Spent years in a welfare orphanage in Switzerland. He said he never imagined he'd come this far.
Even as a kid, I wasn't even dreaming about that far. I would say that's even past my dreams. I mean, now I'm just living the moment, trying to work hard as I can, and just enjoy the present. Enjoy the present.
Just an inspiring story, Greg. It gives you perspective on why you should be grateful for everything you have.
Kevin, without a doubt, Capella's upbringing helped shape him, and the hard work he continues to put in is really admirable.
And thanks again for tuning in. If you're just joining us, we've played through one quarter of action so far. And what stands out to you from the Pelicans in this one?
Well, in that first quarter, they were intent on just pounding the ball down low.
And you don't see that all that often, getting down there and doing that much damage in a quarter. You got to respect the game plan.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. So for New Orleans right now, they've got Jackson. He's out there with J.J. Redick. Hart is out there with Okafor. And it's Melly in at the four spot. On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Hey, Kevin. Well, the Hawks said they were going to be patient when they rebuilt their team, and they were going to do it through the draft, and they've stuck to that script. Now, Trae Young is probably the biggest name, but Atlanta's added a lot of great young talent the last 3 years. There's John Collins, Kevin Huerter, and in 2019, the Hawks added 3 more good young players in the draft. DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, and Bruno Fernando. Things are looking up in Atlanta.
I would think so, too. On paper, it looks good. We'll see if it materializes. D.A., thank you as always. Brent, when it comes to moving around in tight quarters without a lot of space, who's the quickest player that you have seen in a half-court set this year?
Still remarkable to watch where it is that Kyrie Irving can get to on the floor in any sort of possession. It's like he could take, 50 dribbles in a phone booth and find a way out of it, spinning around and finding gaps within the defense.
What a hand.
But it's not his handle with just the one hand, right, Kevin? It's about he has an idea of after he does the moves around the traffic, when he gets into the basket, multiple ways of finishing, much like Rod Strickland, who was a tremendous finisher in his days years and years ago. Kyrie's got a lot of that in this game.
That one goes in.
And defensively, guys, they've been unable to shut down the middle.
And ball comes to help. Passes it to Collins. T kicks to Collins. Young taking his time here. And the call will be against Lonzo Ball. That's his first foul. New Orleans making a switch here. Favors is checked in. And a switch here also for Atlanta. Capella's checked in. Out to the wing. Offensive rebound. And the dunk by Capella.
That is a product of pure effort, guys.
I agree, and that's nothing new coming from him, GA. He loves going to work on the rebounding, going to work on the board.
Stick with fundamentals there. Shot goes up, box out, or he'll destroy you.
And really, Ingram is consistent in nailing these perimeter shots. Gotta get a hand up, or he's gonna make you pay.
Young's shot is off.
It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Well, it was only a short stay in L.A. for Lonzo Ball. Traded this past summer as part of the Anthony Davis deal.
And getting out of L.A. might be the best thing for him. Still a great defender and playmaker. His best years, without a doubt, could be ahead of him here in New Orleans.
Hayes, he's checked in for New Orleans. Ingram uses the glass to finish the layup. Ingram's got the lead up to 13 now for the Pelicans.
Gotta see Ingram get going down low. Just another dimension of his game that he continues to develop.
1:14 left here in the second. Here's Collins, drilled from 11 feet out. Collins has got his second bucket of the night.
From the middle, part of Collins' game that is developing. Nice work, and that's paying off.
In the corner, it's Ingram. It's good. The assist that time from Holiday. And that's 12 points for Brandon Ingram.
And defensively, they are on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
And Ball slams it in.
Yeah, I just love seeing it ball, put it on the deck, using those long strides to get all the way to the cup.
And so Young will bring it up for the Atlanta Hawks. Down by 15. Capella against Favors. Herter passes to Teague. 6 to shoot. Lobbed up there for Collins.
But when you have a PG like Jeff Teague who can run that pick and roll perfectly, it's certainly a luxury. Nice pass there.
With his first shot attempt, second shot opportunity, and that one's good by Favors.
And this has been a great job of just getting into the middle of that defense and really scoring effectively from the paint.
Young and the Hawks getting another basket right there.
Difficult to try to stick with Trae Young, especially when he's rising up there.
Outside Holiday. No good on that one. And so it's the New Orleans Pelicans. 13 points up at the end of the period. What a night they've had in terms of their shooting. Everything dropping in for them. It's time now to go courtside. All right, David, thank you, and stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the third quarter started.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, welcome back. It is bedlam here. The first half was all about Brandon Ingram. He had 12 points and 1 steal. In their previous game, he had a performance he said he wanted to put behind him quickly. And so far, he's doing just that with the nice first half he had here. That about wraps it up. Time now for the second half of the game. We go to Kevin Harlan for the call.
And with the second half upon us, we'll find out if this game becomes the route that it's threatening to be. Brandon Ingram has been sensational.
Really impressed with the shot selection. through the first half, just taking what he can get from the defense.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to the first half and wondering, did he take a low percentage shot? Everything efficient.
And after a very lopsided first half, we'll see if things play out a little more evenly here in the second. Checking out the group for Lloyd Pierce to start the second half. Young and Herter make up the backcourt. Hunter at the 3 with Collins at the 4. And it's Capella in at the 5. Now the pass to Young. Clock at 6. It's rebounded by Derek Favors. Favors has got 4 rebounds in this game.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well. They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
Well, some people looking at Atlanta and their situation in terms of the rebuild and wondering what direction they would go. They've made some pretty solid picks. Got John Collins at the 19th pick as a foundation piece, and then obviously drafting Trae Young and Kevin Herter, relying on shooting on the perimeter, and things moving along swiftly in Atlanta.
Young dishes to Collins. To the right side. Here's Hunter. That 3 off the mark.
You talk about things at halftime, and then you come out and you go 0 for 3. I'm sure that wasn't up on the board.
And John Collins, Brent, falling that late in the first round, shows you how deep that draft was.
Now, some people thought it was going to be a slow rebuild in Atlanta. They've made some pretty good picks. Grabbing Collins, as you mentioned, and then last year picking up Trae Young and Kevin Herter in the draft and relying on some shooting. That number 19 has been pretty lucky so far for the Atlanta Hawks.
And we've got an update here, so let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
Kevin, when Trae Young was in college, he was known for his long-range shooting. But Young says, the people who know me best know that I'd rather get an assist than any other stat. I pride myself on making the right play. Knowing your teammates get joy and excitement from playing with you is all I care about. Kevin?
That's great to see. Thank you, D.A. Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Damian Jones is checked in for Clint Capella. Labissiere comes in for Collins. And DeAndre Bembry subbed in for Kevin Herter. Especially in the playoffs, Brent, so much can change when a player gets in a foul trouble. You see the league ever modifying that foul out rule?
I know that they do that in the Summer League where you can stay on the court for 10 fouls as elimination, but it's a technical every time. I don't see the league doing that. I think it's good for the game so that star players or meaningful players, ones that play specifically on defense, they have to have responsibility for what it is that they're doing on the floor. And if they're overly aggressive, you should be penalized for playing that.
Pass to Labissiere. Now, here's Hunter. Defense is right there. And here's Young from the arc. Hits it from three-point range. Young's got 9 points.
Young knows his range to answer his opponent.
And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Jones.
Still Pelicans ball.
Some changes for New Orleans. Okafor's checked in for Williamson. And it's Jackson in for Drew Holiday. And that's out of bounds. New Orleans will retain possession. And while we have a chance, let's take a look at the best free throw shooters in the league from last season. Number 5 is J.J. Redick.
He was locked and loaded from the free throw line all season. Never suffered through any real lulls in that department.
3 from the inbound. Doesn't get it to drop for him. So the Hawks will take it the other way.
And perimeter shooting never more valuable. And that's been J.J. Redick's M.O. all along. An elite marksman who can hit from anywhere.
On the wing, Jackson. Pass to Hart. Back to Jackson. And again, New Orleans has no luck. The Hawks trail by 14. And in today's game, if you don't have floor spacing, your offense is going to struggle.
They call it gravity, the ability of outside shooters to attract defensive attention. Redick, one of those you don't leave for a moment.
There's Jackson with the three. And again, New Orleans has no luck. Lays it up off the glass. That's 7 points for DeAndre Hunter.
The adjustments they've made offensively, they're putting guys in a position now to succeed.
Yeah, possession's just way more efficient, I think, here tonight, taking smarter, better shots, moving the ball around. That's helped them to get back in the ball game.
Hart, that's good. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. The Hawks trail by 12. Here's Young, and he drops in the layup off the glass. Young's got 9 points here in the second half.
Young working hard on the defensive end that time.
Now here's Redick. He's covered closely. From past the arc. And he's good on the three ball. Redick's got a pair of threes now here in the third for New Orleans.
Love Redick expanding his range. You got to have a great base and balance. JJ has it there.
And so it's New Orleans looking at a 13-point lead heading into the next quarter. Things have been clicking offensively, defensively, you name it. And they are riding this wave of momentum. We've got more in store for you right after this. And a moment ago, inside the huddle with head coach Alvin Gentry.
I'm telling you, it's all about learning, okay? It's all about learning. If you play hard and compete and don't play constant, I don't care how many mistakes you make. I promise you that, okay?
Teaching mode right there. Good bite with Alvin Gentry, letting his guys know just try to get a little bit better each time out.
Yeah, I mean, developing players, molding their games, it is not easy. It takes a great deal of patience.
And there have been two very different performances from these teams today as we get going in quarter number 4. They've got Hart. Ingram is out there with Hayes. Then there's Lonzo Ball. And it's Favors in at the 5, roaming the paint. So that's the group out there for New Orleans. And the first one at the line is good. And another name included in that Anthony Davis trade, Brandon Ingram. Still a lot to like about his game.
Pairs up well with what the Pelicans are trying to do. Perhaps the biggest asset coming over to New Orleans could flourish in this system.
Alvin Gentry has seen a lot in his time around the NBA, and last year in New Orleans, really no different. With injuries and trade demands from their top player, it was about trying to keep things together. I don't know, maybe the reward of all that was the roster that he has in front of him now.
The Hawks trail by 14. Bembry the pass to Fernando. Kicks it to Capella. 5 to shoot. Here's Teague. Capella trying to free himself up. Blanketed by the D. He fights to the rim for the layup. And sometimes when a new front office takes over, a coaching change comes next. But Alvin Gentry continues as head coach with the Pelicans.
Well, a good reason for that is the previous relationship that Alvin Gentry had with David Griffin during their times in Phoenix. They've done a tremendous job of setting the table here. A new infusion of talent, different coaches, a change in front office, a new direction from the ownership group. And this is going to give Alvin Gentry the runway to grow and learn with some tremendous young players.
Passes it to Herter. It's up a 3. And the rebound goes to the Pelicans. Earlier in the game, they had a 19-point lead. Here's Ingram. That falls. Nice feed that time from Ball. Ball's got 3 assists now in this one. The Hawks trail by 17. Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over.
Well, a new start for Lonzo Ball, part of that massive Anthony Davis trade over the summer. And for Lonzo, things not working out in L.A. I wonder if being away from everything that L.A. offers up is going to allow Lonzo to focus back in both on playing and on making sure his body is ready for the rigors of an 82-game season.
Looking who's out there now for the Pelicans. Williamson is checked in for Hayes, and it's Holiday in for Hart.
Trae Young showing you variety. He can score in a lot of ways.
The pass to Williamson. There's 1:54 left in the fourth quarter. And the dunk by Williamson.
We're in total command of this game with time starting to run out.
Yeah, looking for a miracle worker out there is the opposing coaching staff. I don't know that they have one. This game seems to be well in hand.
And with the Pelicans, ball can be quite dangerous in an Alvin Gentry offense.
Yeah, this up-tempo style that Alvin likes to play, a lot of it borrowed from the 7 seconds or less offense of Mike D'Antoni, is going to be very exciting. It could be a league pass team as Lonzo Ball loves to advance it with the pass, finding players like Ingram, Holiday, and of course Zion Williamson on the break could lead to some exciting basketball in the Bayou.
And so just rolling to the finish line now in what has been a very confident-looking performance for the Pelicans.
They found a great rhythm from long range.
Yeah, Kevin, every time they left a man open deep, he'd get a good shot at the basket. Didn't hesitate, and that aggression paid off.
And so with this, they'll end up with their second win on the year. And we watched one guy all night long, guys, and looking at the stats just confirms what a dominant game he had. What a night tonight it was for Brandon Ingram.
Just does a great job of looking for space and then finding it. That's taking advantage of what the defense is giving you.
Free throw no good for Holiday.
And last season, the shadow of Anthony Davis's trade request hanging over this Pelicans franchise. A lot to wrestle with.
Yeah, it was an interesting year for the organization with all the news on AD wanting that trade and then nothing happening and then resting him. But I'll tell you what, this wasn't just something where that problem was swept under the rug. The Pelicans decided to just blow that all away. New leadership in the front office, ownership, a revamped roster, the first overall pick in Zion Williamson. The excitement in New Orleans after that trade is on an all-time high.
Making every effort to put this game on ice.
Loved it. The guys are staying aggressive late in this ball game, just not wanting to let go of the rope.
Young inside. He's covered by Ball. 2 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. It's good. The assist that time from Holiday.
This arena was rocking throughout the night. You could really feel the energy.
Yeah, huge motivation. Always great for a young team, but veteran players also appreciate when fans come with that kind of energy and get into the spirit of the game.
And here's Ingram from the arc. The rebound by Young. So we see New Orleans taking the W here. And the outcome of this one was never in doubt.
And boy, they really put in a supreme effort. It just felt like once they had that lead and it was comfortable, they were not going to relinquish it.
Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Brett Barry, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thank you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. So long and good night, everyone.